Hey YouTube, I hope you're good. I recorded a video inside our Facebook group for personal trainers, and what we did is we broke down what one of our clients did to add £2,200 a month to her direct debits in just one promotion inside 1 month. It was an epic result, and what I wanted to was unpack it, kind of explain exactly how we approached it and how we ran it and what we did, so that you can steal the ideas and the tactics and you can do the same. So the video that you're going to watch right now is that live recording where I kind of take you through a presentation of it, as well as making some notes and telling you again what she did. So I hope you enjoy it, I hope you get value from it. We'll see you soon. Hello. Okay, I think we are live. So hello, my name's David from Velocity. We help guys. I think this is going live in Profitable Personal Trainers right now. But wherever you're watching this video, this particular training is about what we did with one of our clients. Polly, she's a legend. She's a mum of 3, and she ran this promotion that we put together that we run inside our program at Velocity, and she added like over £2,000, £2,200 of monthly revenue that's recurring in one promotion. So she put one promotion together, she added her, she increased her income by £2,200, an extra 25 grand a year, and she did it with one simple promotion. And what I'm going to do in this training is just tell you exactly what she did. My hope for this is that you can use some of this stuff and apply it to your own business. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, I think we'll dive straight in. So the way this particular video is going to work is I'm going to go through and tell you kind of the story of it, just like make sure that you understand where Polly started, and then you can kind of see what similarities you might have to her position, and then be able to change and adjust the things that she did to your situation, again, so that we can get you results. Ultimately, what we want to have happen is that you can take some of the stuff, you can get clients, you can grow your business. Our mission is that we want to help personal trainers grow their business to consistent 5 to 7K months, and we want to do that inside 1 year. So we want to give you some of the tools and tricks and kind of mindset hacks that are going to help you do the same. So let's get started on this one. So let's look at kind of some of the issues. One of the problems that Polly was having. In fact, let's just come back for a second and break down where she was. So Polly, she was like many of you people, where you people in here that loved fitness as a mum. Fitness had a big impact on her life, and that meant that she wanted to kind of do the same for other people. She realized how good she felt through fitness and the things that she'd done, so she wanted to make a change. And that's when she got qualified as a PT. This was about a year ago now. She got qualified. No social media presence. She had no gym. She wasn't training at home. She had 3 clients, I think, at the time we run this promotion. Her mum, her sister, and her friend. So she didn't really have much of a client base to start it. And she wanted to be 30 sessions a week, full time. She wanted to go for it, right? But her leads list was exhausted. She didn't have any active leads. She felt like the tap had run completely dry. So that was kind of laying the foundations. The problems that she didn't know where to start in terms of, okay, well, where do I go to generate leads? How do I convert them? Like, what's the onboarding process? She just didn't know what to do. So this promotion kind of gave her that system. She had the anxiety about promoting herself. I don't know if you guys feel this, but one of the common issues we find is that people have this imposter syndrome of being fearful about what will happen if I go out there and start promoting myself. Will someone catch me out? Will someone call me out and tell me that I don't know my shit? And we have our own ways of kind of dealing with this and of coaching people through this. But this was one of the big problems. The leads list had dried up, which we said, and she was wondering, like, am I a good enough trainer? Do I actually have the right? Do I have the ability? Do I have have I earned the right to speak, to actually go and train people? And obviously we have to kind of switch that on its head and tell you absolutely do, because we've got to have that belief inside here, that conviction, to be able to kind of grab a megaphone and like shout from the top of the hilltops that I am a trainer, I can help people, and this is what I can do. So we kind of built a clear plan of action. We made sure that she was calm, she was in control. This came from a lot of the preparation that we put in place, and I'm going to tell you exactly what we did. But we were calm and in control. That's where we want to be. I'm going to break down all the numbers of the promotion of what we did. But we actually ran this promotion. We got 58 leads, and then we had a system that turned a good chunk of those leads into actual paying clients. But there was a process from start to finish that we have to follow for that. So 58 leads is a fast learning curve, right? And I think if we can all like understand right now that, okay, I don't know enough. I don't currently have the knowledge base that can take me to 5, 6, 7K months. I'm going to have to learn a lot. But if I want to do this within the next year, I'm going to have to learn pretty fast. So that's what Polly did. And we thought, right, it's like the plane. It's like, okay, I've got to generate some speed. I've got to put some work in and graft. But then if I put that graft in along the runway, like halfway, 2/3 along the runway, I'm going to take off. And that's exactly what Polly did. So what I'm going to do is go through like 5 big ideas that we can take from what Polly did that you can kind of absorb. Then we're going to get a bit tactical and look at kind of some of the specific stuff. Okay, so the first one is get ready, log everything. Now I've got some notes here, so I'm just going to load these up beside me here. When it comes to a promotion, people say, I want to promote my business, I want to get out there and get some more clients. I think that there's not enough forethought that goes into the planning and the strategy that I'm going to follow before I actually promote the thing. And that, again, I'm going to tell you kind of what we did. But let me just give you a little an idea, an insight into what Polly actually prepared prior to this promotion starting. So let's just get this little color. So let's talk about prep now. So like, what do you actually have to do to prepare before you promote something? Well, first of all, we promoted it on several social media apps, and I'll go into the number stuff later on with where stuff was. But we need to promote for a set period of time to give you the opportunity to get in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Okay, and in order to do that, we're going to have to post multiple times in platforms, because you can't expect people to respond the first time they see something. They might see it and think, oh, that's interesting, but they might not be in the right state, physically or even emotionally, to take an action on what that post is asking you to do. So I'm talking about multiple posts. And although we can make multiple posts and put them on multiple platforms to give you the reach that you need to get the attention you require, we've got to prepare them ahead of time. So we follow a particular strategy. It's not really for this session, but we're going to follow, we're going to do some direct call to action posts. We're going to follow something called the 4Ps 1S system, where you kind of break down the problem that you're solving with your promotion, with kind of your service. We look at the process that you're going to follow. So we break down, we share people exactly what you're going to do on, in your offer as part of your service or your kind of the thing you're promoting. We're going to share loads of proof, and we're going to share the proof of the fact that it works. So stories of your clients, and not just, hey, this person has lost this bunch of weight, but actually like, this is where they were, like I'm doing with you now. This is where they were, this is what we did, and this is where she is now. And when you can show people the full story about what you do, people are like, oh, that's interesting. They can relate to it, they can lean in. And then S is for, the 4th P is for personal. So you need to share a little bit about you, because people don't buy from people they don't like. And then there's a sale. There's a sale post where we're directly calling out to people. And there's particular structure to how we do that, but I'll get to that later. We're also got scripts. Because we're going to be messaging people a lot, we have templates that we're going to write out. And we're going to say, this is what I'm going to send when someone shows interest in what I do. This is what I'm going to say. When they respond, this is what I'm going to say. If they don't respond, that's what I'll say. And we basically prepare initial scripts. We prepare follow-up scripts. In fact, 3 follow-up scripts, because we chase up 3 times before we consider that lead dead or dormant. So we kind of follow up 3 times, because we want to be on them. Like we can't expect, again, people to respond the first time we reach out to them. They're busy. They want the change, but they've got so much other stuff that they're failing to prioritize correctly. So we have to be the ones that are on the front foot that really wants this for our prospects. So we have the scripts. We have a lead tracker. So we prepare this in time, and this tracker basically has, you can just imagine names down the left, and then the various stages of a promotion across the top, and then we just have tick boxes. So what's the first thing that needs to happen? It's like, well, they need to respond to the post. Did I send a follow-up? Tick. Did I send follow-up number 2? Did I send them the form which registers their information and officially registers them either into my program or into my free thing that I'm giving away? Okay. We then had session plans. So we actually planned all the sessions in skeletons, and we said, right, cool. If we're going to promote something, and this promotion, I'll break this down for you in a second. It had we're going to deliver sessions for people free of charge, and even if this is even if this is paid, we want to be really clear what we're covering. And rather than making sessions totally bespoke for each individual prospect that kind of falls onto our lap, we want to have a skeleton inside which we individualize. And what that allows us to do is individualize to a greater degree, so that we're not spending our energy and our time designing a program which ultimately doesn't deliver the initial value the prospect needs to sign up. Okay, the value that we need to get across is totally and directly relating to what the problems that prospect has, which we will learn through the nurturing process that we follow in the messaging and the information collection. So the point here, the kind of hack that I want to share with you is, when you're promoting and you're engaging with prospects, you've got to prioritize your learning of their situation. What problems are they having? What do they want to achieve? What have they tried and failed? What do they like? What do they dislike? And if we can gather that information and then feed that back into their experience that we're going to give them as a glimpse into what it's like to work with us, you're going to win. Okay. We then had messages in between sessions. We also had forms. We had videos we sent, and we had forms. Okay. So what I want to do here, we prepared this, and basically what we did is we said, let me just map this out for you so you can get really clear. What we did with Polly and what we prepared, if I just jump back to this, let me just give you some context if you've jumped into the training a little bit late, is that one of the key kind of big ideas to getting the extra £2,200 a month of recurring revenue for Polly was we got ready, we planned everything out before we promoted. Now, fundamentally, what we promoted was a week's worth of training with Polly. Okay, so we had 7 days. All right. Across that 7-day period, we had 1, 2, and 3 sessions. In between those sessions, we also had messaging and exercises for those clients to do. We then had this thing at the end called, and that's an S below me, let me just make it a little bit smaller. We then had an S at the end, a next step session, which is essentially a consultation. And what we did, like prior to leading up to this, is that we had a kind of a nurture process, right, which preceded this 7-day experience. We signed people up to this experience. They did the 3 sessions. They had a whole bunch of nurture and encouragement, and leaning in from us in between. And by the end, that's where we got all of our sales. So in short, that's like the 30-second overview of what we did. And then all the stuff that we prepared, the posts, the scripts, the tracker, the session plans, the messages, the videos, and the forms, they all helped us execute on that experience, on that promotion that we put out. This was totally free, okay? And I'm going to be talking to you about the numbers and working for free in a minute. That was free. But the bottom line here, and people, because sometimes they balk at me and say, oh, David, I don't want to do all that work for free. I'm like, what would you do now? How much work would you do for me right now if I could give you 25 grand a year? I've got like a portfolio of clients that's worth 25 grand a year, and I can give them to you. It's here. I've got all their information, all their goals, all their problems, all their pain points, all their issues, all their likes and their dislikes. And I've got it here in a pack, right? It's 25 grand a year. How much work would you be willing to put in for free for me to give this to you? Would you put in a week's worth of graft? I think you would, right? So this is the fundamental principle behind this promotion, is a ton of free value up front, and then we get the sale. One of the best summaries of this, because what we teach at Velocity is upfront value provision and delivery. So we can afford to make a big ask later. The longer you delay your sale, your ask, the bigger the ask can be, right? Because if we can develop so much rapport and trust and have this person truly and deeply believe that we are the person for them, that we are someone to be trusted and someone that's investable with their time and their hard-earned money, then they will be willing to commit to us. Not just in big packages, in 4, 8 sessions, 12 sessions a month, 10, 20, 50 session packs, whatever, whatever you pay for your sessions right now, or even high ticket offers where you're selling a big program. The longer you delay the ask, the bigger the ask can be. And that's exactly what Polly took advantage of. So I think you get the principle, and I think I've just jumped back onto my next slide, but I think this one is massive value up front. So I've kind of jumped into this already. If we can provide that massive value up front by showing people exactly what it is that they need to do in order to achieve the big vision, the big goal they've got, or overcome the big problem, then they will begin to lean into us. They will begin to ask questions and be intrigued as to what we can do to help them on that journey. Okay, massive value up front. Be prepared to put the work in, put a shift in before you actually ask for the sale, and you will start growing. Okay, omnipresent promoting. So let me just break down where we actually promoted, because at the time, and I think now, I don't think Polly has a massive social following. So we did a few things. Okay, we did Instagram, we did personal Facebook, we did Facebook groups, we did Nextdoor, and did we do anything else? I think we did friends and family referrals. So we picked these 5 things for Polly because that was kind of her thing, and we wanted to create a series of messages and posts. So posts being I'm sending one-to-many, messages being one-to-one, and we want to take advantage of both strategies. So obviously with Instagram, Facebook group and Nextdoor, these are one-to-many messages, and face-to-face, this is one-to-one. And what we did is we spent 10 days promoting our arse off, right? Promoting this amazing free offer, this free experience that we were going to massively change the course of people's health and fitness lives and journeys. And we had this 10-day promotional plan, and we followed that structure that I touched on earlier. We sent out problem messages, so we were kind of identifying the problems that we were going to solve with the promotion. We were telling people how it was going to run. We were explaining what was involved. We were talking about proof clients that have been through this thing before and got great results. We were talking about personally, like how this kind of experience, this method had helped Polly. And we were directly calling to action. We're saying, like, who wants to sign up? Who wants to work with me for a week? We were asking the people of Instagram, her followers, and we were direct messaging people on Instagram as well. We were asking all of her friends on Facebook. We were posting on our public profile, and then clients and friends were sharing it. We were going into 5 to 10 Facebook groups locally to our area, and we were promoting them and saying, hey, listen, I'm giving away this thing. I want to help you achieve this outcome, overcome this problem. I'm training people for free for a week. Who's in? And we had tons of people that responded. Same thing on Nextdoor. Then, if you haven't heard of it, Nextdoor's a neighborhood app where you can kind of sell and promote stuff locally to you in your neighborhood. And we got a huge take up on Nextdoor. We also reached out to friends and family, and we asked them, not just do you want to come and work with me, but do you know anyone else? Do you have any friends, family, co-workers, cousins, friends, like daughters, sons? Like, we were just asking, please spread the word for me. And with the trust that most family members have, they would do that. So we did that. This was our omnipresent promoting, because the idea over that 10-day window is that we want a lot of people to know who we are, and maybe they might see us in multiple locations. They might notice it on Instagram and see us on Facebook. They might see you on Facebook and then notice it on Nextdoor. Or if they're only in the Facebook group and they don't know you anywhere else, and you post consistently and they see you there, they see you show up over the course of 10 days, they might notice 2, 3, 4 of the posts you put out. They're going to take more notice. Again, you can't expect people to see one post or one message that you send out and then respond off the back of it. I'm telling you now, most people will see the thing that you're putting out and go and probably might even mention it and say, that's quite cool. That sounds great, but I'm just in the middle of something, so I'm going to go away and do that. And then they get them. I'm sure you do it all the time. They get lost, they get sidetracked, so they go off and do something else, and then they forget about it entirely. And then they kind of wonder, like 2 weeks later, oh yeah, I was going to reach out to that person. So the consistency is crucial. So, like God, we want to be omnipresent. That's the idea of this one. Okay, next one, know the numbers. Now, there's a little story on this one. One of my favorite films is Good Will Hunting. And what I loved kind of about this idea is he totally knew the numbers. Like, the kind of principle of this is that this maths equation that this professor put up in this university, Will Hunting, he basically was able to solve this equation. He was totally like, he stored information like crazy, and he was able to process it really, really fast. The power that gave him was opportunity. And he had the opportunity then to go and do big things and work for big companies and change the world. That was kind of the idea. Now, if we know our numbers, if we can understand the ins and outs of our promotion and understand the mathematics of a promotion, you will do really, really well. The opportunity will be massive. And that's what Polly did really well. So I've got the numbers here I'm going to share with you of what we accomplished. So we did all that promotion, we prepared everything, and we had our offer ready to take to the market. And we wanted to get as many eyeballs as possible, multiple posts. We ended up with 58 leads. 58 leads basically meant that we had 58 people say, I'm interested. Okay? The call to action on the posts were basically, if this sounds good, if you want more information, like this post or comment the word me or something like that if you want more information. So we had 58 people. Now, we then had a process that we followed from every time someone said, yeah, me, I'm interested, I want information. We had a script that Polly followed that basically begun that nurturing process. So what you don't do when someone says, I'm interested, is you don't go, oh, cool, here's the form to sign up. You don't do that. There's no rapport, there's no trust built. People buy from people they like and trust. So we have to lean in and we have to ask them, okay, thanks for showing me, your interest in this thing. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions about what's going on right now? So then you'd ask, cool, what are you doing at the moment? What's your goal? Is there something you're struggling with at the moment? What would this be helpful? Why would this thing be helpful for you? And we're just building a bit of understanding about where this individual's at, double checking that they're right for us and that we might be able to help them. But then once we've developed that bit of connection, and once that lead feels understood, and that you've actually not just jumped at the chance to kind of sign them up to a program, they're going to develop a bit more trust. And that's when a lead becomes a prospect. Okay, the prospect basically means that, okay, yeah, they actually have a prospect of signing up. Okay, there's a genuine chance they might come and sign and buy my stuff. And we can only say that is if we onboard them into our promotion, we gather information through that form, and we can now start that process of nurturing, building rapport and trust. Now, from those 58, only 45 completed the form. Okay, so what we did is we had that form, we prepared a form which extracts information from the individual that helps us gain a good picture about where they're at. So interesting, right? We missed 13, right? 13 gone from this process. Because a lead, like just because they're a lead, doesn't mean everyone's going to come through and be a client. There's going to be a drop off at each stage of the journey. And those 13 people either didn't respond or just said, actually, no, this isn't for me. Once we explained what the thing was. Now, from those 45, only 38 started. So even though 45 people completed the form which said, these are my goals, these are my problems, this is what I'm doing, submit. They actually took the time to do that. Still 7 people fell out. Okay, but I'm going to talk about these people in a minute. From the 38 that started, only 29 finished. They finished the promotion. And that meant that they went through that 7-day process that I talked about earlier, and they kind of completed the work that Polly had prepared, and they got to the end. All right, 29. 9 people just fell away. All right, there's another 9 here. Okay. Of the 29 that finished, we had 16 consultations. Of those 16 consults, we ended up with 12 clients, which that's what led to the 2,200, because we signed them up on a recurring monthly revenue package. Now, the interesting thing about this is that initial promotion lasted about a month approximately, and we ended up with that £2,200. The cool thing is that the people here, the 13 there, that initially said, I'm interested, but I'm not doing the form. And the 7 that said, I did the form, but I'm not ready to start. And the 9 that started but didn't finish, they were all leads that we could follow up later, including the 4 here, the 4. Hang on, we've got 13 there that didn't book a consult at the time. Excuse the squash nature of this. So we add all this up, 13, 7, 29, 42, 46, I think, if my maths is right. 46 people, that's right, because that's the difference between 12 and 58. 46 people that weren't ready to take some action. And obviously there are different degrees of action as we work down through the page here. But they were leads that we could put over here and follow up later. A month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, when circumstances had changed, when maybe they were in a better position to take action. Because we don't know these people that they weren't interested, maybe the time just wasn't right. Maybe the time wasn't right. So we've got to honor that and say, just because someone says no, it doesn't mean never. We at Velocity, we think it's never a no, it's always not yet. And it doesn't mean we're going to pester people and hound people until they sign up. It just means we're going to keep the door open. And what that means, those 46 people, right, that said no, not yet, we followed up later. And we actually added, because this promotion ran a little while ago, there were a few months later, we had another 4 clients, which took us up to the £3,000 mark. And that didn't come directly from the promotion, but it was delayed. And that was because we had a follow-up system that went back to the 46 a month later and just reached out and said, hey, how's it going? Hey, what's going on? How's your training? And let's be honest, we know that the highest percentage of people will probably be like, do you know what, I haven't done anything since we last spoke. Oh, really? Right? Now, we won't be passive-aggressive like I implied there, but we're going to lean in and be like, listen, okay, I've got some spaces on my thing. I would love to try and help you. Do you want to jump on a call and talk about that? And of the 46 people, if you send each of them a follow-up message a month or 2 later, I guarantee you a small number of people are going to respond and say, do you know what, I think the time's right. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. And if you keep doing that, of course, the majority of the 46 might never respond. But that doesn't mean we don't reach out to everyone, because we just don't know who out of those 46 are going to be ready when. So we reach out to all of them, we accept we're going to get rejected, we accept we're going to be ignored, but we know that a proportion of that is going to end up in a big win for us. So what got Polly to the initial 2,200 and the ultimate 3K was with this one promotion. And we got her there because actually she had a system, she was prepared, she ran through it, and she followed the system all the way through. So I'm just going to jump back to this again, because I think there's one more key point I want to cover, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So sweat the small stuff. There's no reason for the picture of the dog, it just made me smile. Sweat the small stuff. They say the devil's in the detail, and they say that if you if you really want to have an impression on someone, you've got to lean in and really look for those little details, those little cogs that if you just turn and you add and you put in the right place, it's going to make the big system work. And along the way, from the very first moment that someone raises their hand from a promotional post or a message or a conversation that you might have and says, "Huh, that's quite interesting," we're going to become really attentive to the detail that we're going to be offered. Because if you're a good listener and if you're curious and persistent with your listening and the extraction of information, you'll be amazed about what people tell you that will later prove absolutely significant and sign them up as a client. Because fundamentally, we're looking to understand people's situation so that later we can provide the very best approach, the very best solution to that person's problem. So if we go and we say, like we might be messaging people, it could be DMs on Instagram, it could be WhatsApp, it could be emails, is that we're asking questions in that initial phase. Remember the nurture script that I mentioned earlier about, okay, what are you doing right now? What have you tried to this point? What's working, what's not working? What's your goal? Where do you want to get to and why? And we're asking these questions and we're documenting all the information. And what we're kind of looking at that like almost like an investigator. We're thinking, okay, cool. Which are the pieces here that are really like the powerful drivers behind this? What's going to make this person tick? What's going to make this person take action? And when we follow up or when we go back to that individual, we can use that. We can reference those things, those in golden nuggets of information, which will make it will not only instill value in the individual that you're talking to, because listening is valuable. People want to be heard. So if you prove to people that you listen and you pick up these small details, they're gonna trust you more. They're gonna lean in. They're gonna want to spend more time with you. Because don't you love spending time with people that truly listen and truly understand where you're at? Of course we do. We love it. So if we can practice doing that better and more for our prospects, and we use that in that nurturing phase of building rapport and trust and showing them what we've got to offer, I promise you, you will have a far better chance of signing people up to your service. So do sweat the small stuff. Okay, so I think we're done. I think we're good. The only last pieces that I wrote down here will be, it's mostly personal stuff. It's a lot about kids' names, weekend plans, holiday plans, what they got up to last weekend, and going back to them and saying, like, cool, how was that thing last night? What did you think of that? Like, oh, how's little Jimmy getting on at school? You mentioned he had a play. You know, those little pieces, they like you, they trust you. People buy from people they like and trust. So there we have it. Okay, guys, this particular training was all about poly. I really hope this has been useful. I'd love it if that was good. Just a little like comment below, a little like, a little thumbs up. A comment would be really appreciative, because what we're trying to do is just trying to help. We're trying to help you guys in the growth of your business. So if there is something that's been useful today, I'd appreciate if you let us know below. As I said, my name's David. I run Velocity with my business partner Craig. He's actually my best mate of a long time, 20 years or so. We've been best mates, and we help PTs scale their personal training business to 5 to 7K months inside a year. So if you want more information about that, feel free to reach out, have a chat, and we'll see if we can help you. But otherwise, I hope this has been really helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.